It's important to understand that how you, in fact, attract all that you desire is first by identifying and embracing the fact that you are a divine being. By understanding the correlation between you and what we often call God. By understanding that you are an individualized expression of that which we call God. By identifying that though we haven't necessarily created this vast and general universe, you have a say in how you perceive that universe. And this is how you create your own universe, is by perception, adding meaning and definition to what it is that you're experiencing, and thus creating something new and something different. But first, it's important to understand your divinity. To understand, because you were created by God, you inherently take on the power of a God. You take on the power of creating. This is what we call manifestation. This is what we often call law of attraction. Law of attraction gets into the universal understanding of cause and effect, causality. But when we recognize manifestation as the art form of life by which we, in fact, experience life as an expression of how we perceive life, how we wish to express and show and place our mark in the fabric of all of existence, we understand then that it is by embracing that do we actually attract, create the things that we desire. So first, understand that when we think about desire, there is this underlying understanding or belief system that there is something stopping you from getting all that you desire. That is why, in fact, you are studying manifestation and spirituality in the first place. You see, the journey of spirituality isn't about adding to you, right? It isn't about learning something that is going to bring more value to you. It is, in fact, really about learning something that is going to take away. And what I mean by take away is going to take away the restrictions. It's going to take away the negative and unproductive paradigms and belief systems. It's going to take away the negativity. It's going to take away the limitations. You see, understand that you are perfect. But as you have learned and grew, right, how you were raised in this journey of life, you have been given, you have been instilled belief systems that has put restraints upon your divinity, so to speak. Now, I know that sounds weird, because how can something so powerful be restricted? Well, if the thing itself, you, decides to put and accept these restraints, then it's going to restrict your divinity. So it's really up to you. It's not really about what somebody else has taught you. It's really about you accepting that belief system in the first place. And so when we get into understanding and attracting and creating all that you desire, you have to understand that this is really about opening yourself up to the reality of your divinity, the truth of your divinity, and letting go of the limiting belief systems of the human experience. So you're going from identifying as a human being, having the flaws and imperfections of a human being, having the ideas of limitations of being human, to understanding that really you are a spiritual being in a human body. Therefore, you are not restricted by this body. You understand that this body was a manifestation. It is a manifestation of who you are, consciousness. And so as you see the body as not a representation of the totality of who you are, you look at it as simply an expression, as a tool for what you can do. And thus you see that differently, and that allows you to embrace this divinity and thus pull away of all the limiting belief systems. And so that's what the journey is about. The journey of spirituality isn't about really trying to change who you are and add value to who you are. You see, a lot of times we think that if I read one more book, it's going to make me better. If I do one more thing, it's going to make me better. The spiritual journey is about not so much changing who you are, but accepting who you are. It isn't about trying to be better. It's simply about acknowledging the fact that you are already perfect as you are, and thus taking away the restrictions that has been instilled in you to believe that you are less than, that you are simply just good enough, when you are in fact everything. You see? So the journey here is about taking away the excess, because the excess is really the limiting belief systems that is stopping you from automatically attracting all that you desire. And now you have to go through this reprogramming of, okay, how do I learn to do this on purpose? How do I consciously materialize and manifest the things that I want? And so in order for you to do that, you have to open up your mind, right? You have to open up yourself and let go of the limiting beliefs, right? You have to think about, say, a room with a door, and that door represents your mind. And right now that door is closed, and it's closed based on your limiting belief, right? It's based on the restriction that you think are reality, so to speak. But when you practice things like meditation, when you practice things like mindfulness, contemplation, then you open the door. And when you open that door, then you open yourself up to the endless possibilities of the universe. You see? So it's important to recognize that this journey isn't about changing yourself. It's simply about accepting yourself. It's simply about accepting who you are as an individual, right? It's simply about accepting what resonates with you. It's simply about accepting your true beliefs and understandings about how you experience life and how you create life, how you create this reality that you're living in. And so your job is to pull away all of the things that are distracting you, all of the things that are keeping you away from your true self, your true essence. So you have to do the work. And when I talk about things like manifestation, when I talk about how it's important to practice meditation, to practice mindfulness, to practice contemplation, those are the processes by which you really think and you really look at yourself. You really put a symbolic mirror in front of you and you really analyze yourself and you think about how you react and act to certain things, right? What triggers you have? What are your common thoughts and beliefs? Do they actually serve you? And when you start to really think about those things, not from a perspective of, well, this is wrong or right. This is not about judgment. This is about simply understanding the ability to align your beliefs with what you desire. And does it really match with who you are deep within? Does it really make sense to who you are? And if it doesn't make sense, then you have to go into the rabbit hole of really dissecting that. Because in that hole, you're going to discover the endless possibilities of who you are, the infinite potentiality of the things that you can access, the things that you can achieve, right? Even what you are, who you are. And so you have to continue down this journey in a way that doesn't allow for you to seek change or try to convince yourself to be something you're not. But you really have to get into letting go of who you are identifying with, right? Because that was taught to you. And thus allow yourself to go deeper into who you truly are. That's what this journey is about. And so when you do that, then you open up yourself to really connecting with what it is you truly desire, not what somebody else has told you to desire, or what other people are desiring. So therefore, oh, I want what they want, right? Because if I get what they want, then I'll get their admiration and respect. Who cares about that? You really want to focus on your fulfillment, your happiness, what truly represents peace and abundance to you, truly, authentically. So the journey is about opening your mind up, not being closed off, not spending time distracting yourself from having this internal dialogue, this discussion with yourself between consciousness and subconscious and ego and conscious mind, right? All the very layers of who you are. But going into having this round table of all these different layers of who you are and coming to a consensus as to what is it that we really want? What is it that we really desire? Who are we truly? And once you do that, then you start to truly make the breakthrough in understanding that you are endless. You are infinite. And all that you desire comes to you as a result of you figuring out all that you are. Thank you so much. Feel free to go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, and get access to this free ebook, The Power Within. Also, I invite you to join my Conscious Creator Circle, which is a subscription-based membership that will give you more details, more access to me, and the ability to actually dive deeper into being a conscious creator and thus creating the reality that you desire. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.